Hello everybody. So I was just trying to redo my previous video, thinking that it was not energetic enough, and I ended up talking for 40 minutes. So I decided that I'll redo it. And so my goal is to do it like in 15-20 minutes. So it probably won't give you as much information, but hopefully I'll have better chances for you to get to the end of it. So please watch this video. I'll try to be as energetic and enthusiastic as possible. And and that should give us a good foundation for a good productive discussion in class. Also, I hope it will encourage you to look into the textbook, and maybe someone will feel like watching that longer video I posted on D2L, which covers one of my online classes. But anyways, watching this video should be a big step ahead. So let's get to it. So positive externalities, what this thing is about. Well, to understand what positive externalities are about, we need to look at something called external benefit. External benefit occurs when there is the benefit of producing a good or service spills over to other people rather than just the buyers. Another good way to look at it is to understand that external benefit can be seen as an intended side effect on an activity. So external unintended, again, positive side effect. So not any side effect, but positive, beneficial. Okay. So important observation is that when someone does something nice to others on purpose, is not actually an external benefit, because if it's done with a purpose, that is not a side effect. It's actually meant to be produced. So whether it's done for monetary compensation or just for satisfaction of doing something nice, it's not an external benefit generated by someone. So all this story we're going to look at applies to a situation when this external effect is more like side effect rather than intended effect. So examples, well, before we talk about examples, let's actually use this diagram. So if we take whatever action you're looking at, to understand whether there is it's the case of externality, you want to separate direct effect, or basically whatever effect that whoever is involved in this action is trying to achieve, and the external effect or side effect, which this person doesn't really care for. And if there is such effect, then you can argue that's the case of externality, or in this particular case, the case of positive externality. So like examples, I'll probably leave most of them for you to present in class, but let's start with beekeeping. So beekeeping, why people keep bees? Well, they want some honey. That will be direct effect. But if it happens that bee do something else, which you guys probably can figure out, then this external effect will benefit someone else. So the kind of, as beekeeping is a textbook example, you probably know by now that the external effect will be pollination, right? So if the guy who keeps those bees only has bees and doesn't own those orchards or whatever, like clover fields around the bees, then the pollination effect will spill on whoever owns those orchards and clover fields. All right, so that's why beekeeping qualifies as an example of positive externality. All right, so we have more examples here. And again, I'll just leave it for you to discuss in class. Now let's jump to positive externalities and efficiency. So that's where we need to implement our formal analysis that we're able to do thanks to our previous learning in this class. What can we say about efficiency here? Well, we'll see that activities with external benefits will result in underproduction. And, well, as always, in case of underproduction and in case of missing the point of allocative efficiency, we'll see some deadweight loss. Now, I know quite a bit of people would think like positive externalities should only do things better, right? We should only make things better. How come we're gonna get some inefficiency? Well, let's look at these diagrams and see how it happens. So the starting point is this diagram. So here we have private marginal cost, which represents supply. Here we have private marginal benefit, which represents demand. So if there is nothing else, so if this is not there, the point of market equilibrium will be the same at the point of allocative efficiency. But as now we have this additional external benefit, which is invisible, very important point. This external benefit is invisible for producers and consumers. That falls on someone else. That's someone else kind of joy. Okay? And that's why, you know, this external benefit kind of showing up, let's say it just comes into existence all of a sudden, is not going to change anything at this market. Again, because it affects someone else, but neither consumers or producers. But its appearance, in fact, creates some opportunities for increased total surplus. And we're going to see that the market, if it stays where it is, will not capture all these opportunities. Okay, so how are we going to do that? That's again the starting point. Now let's jump to this one, and I'll try to make sense out of this picture without redrawing it. So basically what we're doing here, we're coming up with marginal social benefit curve. And actually I'm checking the time. It's almost 7 minutes. Okay, I think we're doing good pace here. So our goal is to get MSB. How do we get MSB? Well, MSB technically is the sum of marginal benefit or marginal private benefit and marginal external benefit. So graphically, we just add one value or one variable on top of the other. So it can be done just suggesting 2 points, because we need only 2 points to draw a straight line, and MSB is going to be a straight line. So you pick like whatever quantity you like. So I like this Q1. Then measure your marginal external benefit here, and then you put it on top of your marginal private benefit, which is this distance, right? So if you just take this and put it on top of this, you're gonna get this. So all together, or actually like this, that's your MSB again, which is the sum of this distance. Well, in fact, as it's already shown here, so it's this distance, right? Again, this is MB at Q1 and MEB at Q1. We just need to move this one and put it on top of MB at Q1. All right, that's how you got this point. I hope it was clear. If not, we can get back to it in class. And the same technique applies when we're figuring out this point. So at Q2, you measure your MB and then MEB, and you put one on top of the other. So you can take this value and put on top of this one, and it will bring you here. Or you can take this value and put it on top of this value, so that will do this. Again, you're going to end up exactly at the same point, which will indicate MSB at this level of output. And then if you connect these 2 points, you're gonna get your MSB curve. And if you actually care, you can double check and see that if you draw this line like this, that it will match all MSB points at any quantity. All right, so here we go. That's how we get MSB. This graph shows where we find total surplus. So total surplus now is found under MSB curve, not MB curve. So we forget about MB curve because it underestimates the overall benefit. MSB takes into account both MB and MEB. So that's why we want to use it when looking for the point of allocative efficiency. So if we draw this curve separately and also marginal private cost, we'll find the point of allocative efficiency here. If now we go back to this graph, we'll find the point of allocative efficiency here. But yeah, probably we want to leave this graph alone because we already used it to figure out how to build MSB. So let's move on and deal with this new diagram. So here we have both original MB curve, new MSB curve. As I said earlier, we find the point of allocative efficiency here, and now we can compare it to the point of market equilibrium. Speaking of total surplus and the effect of this positive externality, as I was saying earlier, some people find it counterintuitive that the presence of positive externality results in deadweight loss. But I think that's because they intuitively feel like the presence of external benefit should make things better, right? And in fact, the things are getting better because if you add marginal external benefit to the original picture, you're going to increase the overall surplus. That's what we had before we kind of added external benefit to the picture. And after we added it, you see marginal benefit moved up. So overall surplus actually can go as high as that area. But the problem is that because the market doesn't see this curve. The market again is acting according to private benefit and private cost. So because it's not seeing it, it just stays where it was. So we are not going to capture all this surplus. Well, I guess to be accurate, I should have extended these lines further, but you see my point here. So we are not going to capture all this surplus. We're going to get more surplus. But that would be only this surplus, you see? Because market sits where it was. Because it is, again, it's acting according to supply and demand. And because of it, we are missing this area, and that results in inefficiency. So this area is being missed, area meaning part of total surplus that could have been captured but is not being captured. And that results in deadweight loss. So this quantity is being underproduced, and so that results in this area representing deadweight loss. All right, that's the source of inefficiency in case of positive externality or external benefit. And next thing is to see how this problem can be solved, how efficiency can be restored, how to make those markets do what is right. Well, here's the list. And the first solution is public provision. That's what is done in the area of education. So as education provides quite a bit of positive effects, government just takes it over for the most part and provides it to everyone to make sure that the quantity provided is efficient. So no one is left behind because they don't have enough money or because they underestimate the positive effect the education provides to others. So we're not going to go much into it. There is no much to say except that, yeah, basically government makes sure that the production is done at the point of allocative efficiency. But to other approaches, which in fact is just two cases of the same approach, which means giving money to the market players, we're going to look into them into more details. So one approach or second approach is to encourage supply, giving producers what is known as subsidies. Another approach is to encourage demand, giving consumers what is known as vouchers. So let's take a look. So we have subsidies, we have vouchers. If you give money to producers, you're actually reducing their cost, right? So the marginal cost is going to go down as this external money given per each unit offsets some of the cost. So supply curves shifts down, but in fact it's increasing supply, right? Very important, because effectively it means in rightward shift. Well, we want to, how much, I mean, by how much to shift the supply curve, or in other words, how much to give per each unit. Well, to figure it out, you need to find the point of allocative efficiency, right, where MSB meets MC, then go down, and as you're hitting your original demand curve, the distance between these 2 points will give you the amount of subsidy that is we need to give to producers, so that encourages them to produce at the point of allocative efficiency. So this is subsidy, which again is the distance between MSB and MB, which happens to be MEB at the point of allocative efficiency. So the formal answer to how much to give to sellers is to give them the amount of money that is equal to marginal external benefit at the point of allocative efficiency, which can be measured as the distance between MSB and MB, again at the point of allocative efficiency. You have to be careful here because MEB varies depending on how much we are producing, right, or consuming. So we want to measure exactly this distance against this point. Not here, but exactly here, which again is MEB against QAE. All right, so as you can see, by encouraging supply this way, we're going to push the market equilibrium to this point. You see, because that's the new supply curve. This one can be ignored now. So what matters is this point, again, for the market equilibrium, the new supply curve encouraged by subsidy, and the original demand curve, which was not affected. So that's the point of new equilibrium, not this one, because again, MSB remains invisible to the market players. They can only see their private benefit, private cost, or whatever money government is giving them. So thanks to this money given to them, now their supply curve is actually, they feel like this is their cost curve now, or supply curve, again thanks to the subsidies, and then that brings the market to this point, which happens to be the same as the point of allocative efficiency. All right, I hope it makes sense. Again, we'll talk about it in class to clarify things. And next thing is to see how vouchers work. Well, vouchers work very similarly. It's a very similar story, except that now government gives money to buyers, so demand curve is shifting up. So because additional money is kind of increasing the benefit, so that encourages demand. And the amount given to buyers per one unit again should be equal to marginal external benefit at the point of allocative efficiency, which again is simply the difference, the distance between MSB and MB. Remember, that's how we built actually MSB. We were adding MEB on top of MB. So at any level of output, you can measure your marginal external benefit just looking at the difference between MSB and MB at that particular quantity. So to figure out what V is, or voucher is, per one unit, you just need to measure the distance between MSB and MB exactly at the point of allocative efficiency. So that's why this is the voucher, well, per which is the amount of money given to buyers per one unit that they buy. All right, and that will shift our, again, demand curve up, and that will shift the market equilibrium from this point to this point. and that will make us happy, because that will bring us to the point of allocative efficiency, because this is where MSB meets MC. All right, again, for the purpose of finding market equilibrium, you want to look at this adjusted demand curve and the initial supply curve. When looking for the point of allocative efficiency, you need to look to the point where MSB meets MC, or supply curve. And by encouraging demand like that, again, we find ourselves at the point of allocative efficiency, and so deadweight loss is eliminated, efficiency is restored, and we can stop and enjoy our life. Enjoy the work done well. Okay, so it's been 21 minutes now, and I'm very happy I fit into the time allotment, and I hope it was fun enough. I hope all of you made it to the end, and I hope we'll have a very productive, exciting discussion in class. And I'll see you there. Bye-bye.